show over to Dan and Brad. Hey guys.
Hey Scott, thank you for the intro. Brad, how's your audio? Just a quick test.
Hello, hello.
Okay.
You sound good to me.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in to our first Q&A webinar of 2022. Very excited to get started with 2022. It was a fantastic year for Trade Ideas. We had our 5th year of record revenues in a row, another year in the Inc. 5000. Fastest growing privately held companies. All of this is because of you. And you don't hear a lot about this. I mean, we don't really brag other than, of course, on the Q&A. But we're a non-venture funded company. That means all of the things that you see and hear and get from Trade Ideas is built in-house without other people's money. You guys, our subscribers, our patrons, you guys are our venture capitalists. We're grateful for everything that you provide for us, and because of you we continue to innovate, and we are going to be taking innovation to the next level in 2022. I'm going to demonstrate some of that for you today. Some of you have seen some of it, but some of you haven't because there's so many new people have been coming on over November and December. So let's get started real quick. Again, lots of exciting stuff to show you, and I'm going to give you guys lots to think about. It may not be the longest Q&A webinar we've done. I'm going to try to shoot for like about 40 minutes or so. I don't want to spend, unless there's lots of questions, which of course is no problem at all. Okay, so once again, Trade Ideas disclaimer, we're not a registered investment advisor. Everything is technology for informational and educational uses only. None of these things that you see are recommendations to formally buy or sell securities. Those things come from registered investment advisors, which of course we are not. So please do not consider this as any kind of formal investment advice. Thank you. What do we do here? We empower you, the individual investor, to be your own fund manager. Many people at Trade Ideas manage their own 401ks, for example, including myself, Brad, some of the other partners. But lots of people just trade discretionarily to get more out of the market. For some reason, you've been taught to give all of your money away to somebody else to make all the decisions for you. And we cater to the people who are more self-directed, who want to take advantage of the volatility, and you're seeing a lot of volatility in the market. So this is Pepe Gordon Gecko, old school. We're a little bit older than the younger kids around here. We watched Wall Street in the movies. So
that is just one of my favorite images.
It is one. It is one of the best ones. As I said before, I need to update the slide, but we're 5 years now on the Inc. 5000, and all of our technology is made in the USA by US developers here. We do not offshore anything, and again, we're not venture funded. So this is all a labor of love by people who have been doing it since 2003. That's when Trade Ideas got started. So it's 19 years for us in this game, a long time, and we continue to keep moving forward, progressing. Okay. So this is going to be the topic of this webinar. A lot of you have not seen this or heard this, so I'm going to kind of talk about it as if this is the first time you've seen it. And for those that have seen it, just listen, because we're going to be pointing out things that you probably have not heard before. But if you want to watch a little bit something on it, go to trade-ideas.com/stock race. So I'm going to take one more slide here. This is a picture. Brad and I were doing this today, and we're going to show you this. We're going to discuss this. We're going to show you. We're going to dive into it. But we're going to be making race channels. And don't let the word race fool you. What we really have invented is another way to visualize market data. And there is no other company that allows you, like in this example, to see approximately 25 stocks competing against one another for whichever way they're going. Either it's down or up, or being able to see waves of negativity. Like here, Brad took this picture as the market really started to break. Today's market was a little bit tricky. You know, it started with the Dow being down while the NASDAQ was up, but eventually the whole market broke down. And we were watching it in real time through this race setup, and I wanted to show you what we were able to see. Notice here, this is titled Percentage Down Movers in Popular Stocks. So the reason we have this channel, and we're going to be probably one of the first featured channels, but there'll be several others, is that this so that these are stocks you guys recognize, so you'll know what's going on. Notice you can see how much it's moved down in percentages, but to the right you can see the point value, right? So you can see Tesla, 0.52% down, but it was down $6. And you can kind of see that this was happening all at the same time, right? So this is the positive movers. You got Pfizer popping up 10 cents here, but look at this wave of negativity. And remember, you are seeing more data than you could have seen in really any other way. So what I'm going to do now,
I think the important thing also to point out is these guys are all starting, from the same starting point. Even if one stock is up 5% and another stock is up 2%, they're basically starting from that point you start the race. So this is giving you an interesting view of the data that you don't otherwise have.
Correct. All right, Brad, let's dive into this. I'm going to minimize. And what you're seeing here is a race countdown. So this tells you a race is about to start. These are going to be 10-minute races. We're going to watch this. This is after hours, but this is the same picture that I had. And you're going to see, again, after hours data is a little bit different, but we want you to all see it in real time. This is the winner's circle. So these are the stocks that have been winning. We just happen to have started this window earlier, okay? And these are the stocks that have been winning the race down since we started this window. So let's just watch what happens. And one of the things that I want everyone to see here is remember the amounts of data that you're seeing. And if you're not seeing Apple move, there's a reason. Well, it's not moving down in this particular case. Roku just had a tiny little movement. And remember, this is after hours data, so I can click on it. You got the after hours sprints, of course, doing their thing. But still, the idea is the same whether it's after hours or not. Notice that you've got a counter here. Time is ticking. So you're watching this many stocks up and down, okay, over a 10-minute period. And in this case, again, this is after hours data, so not that much is going on. But as soon as something does sort of percolate, you will be the first to notice. And the thing that I want you to kind of keep an eye on is compare this to your normal way of looking at stocks. Like I'm going to show you this top list. Okay, this is a top list right here. Okay, notice these are symbols, and of course this updates, but it's virtually impossible to see the fluctuations numerically because this is like a spreadsheet. This is still powerful technology, no doubt, but you can't compare it to being able to visualize every move as it's happening, okay? So the real focus of, and notice, of course, if I click on anything in the races from either the winners or any of the symbols, they update, okay? So it's just like regular trade ideas, DWAC, see what's going on there, it's a little up move. Nike, 96 cents down. Let's see what that looks like. Again, just printing after hours, and for a $162 stock, that's not really a lot, but relatively speaking, right, you can compare it to, it's the only one that's sort of being visible in terms of the rest of these. And there's lots of, big name stocks here, Google, just not really doing anything. So after hours, absolutely nothing's going on, okay? mRNA, just a little down move here, 70 cents. But do you see how instantly your eyes, right, are able to just quickly catch it? And notice this is the up and this is the down. And you're able to now navigate a view mode and a perception of the market. And like Brad said, remember, this is not about gappers or who's up the most percentage-wise. It's as the race has started. So it's like a continuation of a counter. You're really seeing, and you can make this race, when this is done, we're going to stop it and show you the race setups. But you can make this race 5 minutes or 30 for that matter. It doesn't really matter. We've actually been working on it. And Brad, I think both you and I agreed that the 10-minute spot is kind of like a little bit of a sweet spot. Again, remember, it repeats, it starts over again, and you'll see like here, W day, work day had, you know, this down move and this down move. That's probably why it was the last two winners of the down cycle. So I want to make sure, number one, does everybody see clearly what's going on here? Are most of you new to the race concept? Okay, awesome. Very, very good. Well, listen, guys, it's kind of amazing from our point of view. I think this concept of stock market data visualization is going to be as profound as what level 2 was when it came out in the 90s. Okay, because once again, you know, you just have to digest it a little bit. Remember, it takes a little bit of time to understand what you're seeing, but the idea is that there has not, that we are aware of, been another technology breakthrough that allows you to visualize this much information and discern the leaders in any kind of technology setup. So Debbie, great question. Of course, in this particular case, I had made a symbol list. So let me show you this real quick. Remember, all of the stock races come off of top lists, okay? So in this case, I have a popular stocks top list, and I can right click and go to configure and symbol list, and it's favorites. So it's just a list that I created of very popular stocks. You can have your own, you can have the S&P 500, or you can just use any top list that you create and create a race out of it. The idea, once again, with the race is the concept of being able to visualize more data and pop and see the Nike pop out from the point of the race in a way that you have not been able to before. Like this is the equivalent of watching 26 and 26, so 52 charts in one place in both the positive and the negative. So you're seeing these ebbs and flows, okay? And once again, obviously, understand that this is aftermarket data. So Joel, the race starts when you start the race, okay? So you're going to be watching everything, but it's based on a criteria. In this case, it's percentage change from the close. So you're looking at percentage movers. So it's calculating it, but it's not doing it from the close of yesterday. It's saying, okay, when you started the race, how much of this percentage change from the close number has gone up or down as you've been watching? And you can make the race smaller, bigger, and after hours, it really, I would say, Brad, if you know, tell me what you think, but I think it takes away approximately like probably 70% of the power, because again, this is post-market prints, but yet it looks so nice.
Unless you have something with earnings coming out or something like that, where it'll just start to run away from everybody, it does get a little sketchy after hours. But during the regular market session, where there's all this market data, it's pretty clean and pretty clear which stock is actually winning.
Right. So Mark asked the question, yeah, so to the right, this race is showing you which stocks are moving in the negative direction. So it's following the same stocks as they move up and down. You can have a stock go up, like obviously Nike's not going up if it's moving down, but if it goes back up, you might have this Nike pop this way. So see, like it kind of just diminished a little bit. So maybe it popped back now. That's just a quick update. Okay. Tesla, probably just, you know, a tiny little print for a stock that's $1,000. Yeah, so what this means is, now, okay, let me answer some more questions. So this is sorting by which stocks are up the most percentage points, and in this case, that's why Roku's at the top. It's up 0.7. And this one is sorting it by what's up or down the most. Now, the reason why Nike pops in here is that we have a bigger symbol list than you're able to see the stocks. So some stocks that all of a sudden pop down will appear here, and that's why they're not all in the exact same order. And again, all of this will be explained. So Roku, it's not that Roku has, oh, Roku has Merck to the right. I'm sorry, now I understand what you're saying. Mark, I understand what you're saying. Sorry. This is the winner's circle. So since I've been watching this race pretty much throughout the whole day today. So these are all the stocks that have been winning races since I started, okay? Same with this. So Merck just happened to have been the first stock that won the race, then LCID, then GM, then Dell, GM. So look, watch what happens. Nike, see? Nike just appeared and Roku just appeared because that was the winner. So Mark, do you understand how that works? What you're seeing there? So this is the winner's circle. It's the checkerboard. It's not related to any of these symbols. It's just a counter or a countdown, or rather a list of everything that has won the race.
And you could clear that at any time.
How do you clear it, Brad?
Just right click in it and select clear list.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, so now we're gonna start from scratch and we're continuing to watch. So let me show you something else here real quick. Bear with me. So I have another docked window. This one Brad created. Now this one, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna clear these. Okay. What we're doing here is moving up 2% on winners since the open. So this doesn't have a symbol list. This is really just based on stocks that are up big. And here we're tracking volume. So you can also have a race that's not just watching specifically percentage gainers or point gainers. You can actually watch volume increase and flow into the stock. And we're going to be adding some cool display information here, like how many shares has happened for this particular move. So you can customize these races in lots of different ways. Notice Brad has one here from $1 to $10 and here from 10 to 30. Okay, so that is just a simple way to break down what you're seeing. And in this case, 1 to 10 and relative volume winners from stocks that are 1 through 100. You have
Let me talk a little bit, Dan, about the upper middle window, because that one is a little bit different the way that it's set up than all of the other ones. It's not using time as its benchmark. It's using a 2% move. So it's looking at that top list of stocks that have moved up pretty good since the open today. It's now looking for this winner is going to be someone that has since you started the race moved 2%. And, you know, you can make that anything you want, but it just shows you the flexibility. You could do this based on time. You could do this based on a value. You can do it based on a delta value. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can really shape these races. And we're really going to try to give you some examples of how you can do it through the couple different channels that we're going to have here active as soon as we release this.
And it's going to be, Brad, when do you think something like this is going to be? I mean, I think you and I are going to be working on the channels, you know, continuously tomorrow and the next day, probably the next build, right? Or
yeah,
something.
I'm thinking this week, you know, Friday, maybe Monday at the latest, we'll have an updated beta, which is really, I know that there is a race component out there, but the updated beta is going to really have the new interface, the ability to make these windows smaller, larger, and a little bit more flexible. And it has the additional race setup where it gives you all these different parameters, which Dan hasn't even showed you yet, but you know, it's really how you define the race.
So this kind of goes towards Mark's question, Brad, in terms of, you know, can you use multiple parameters for the races similar to how you configure a top list? It's not exactly the same, but let me stop this race right here. Okay, I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to show race setup. Okay, so you have a race, and here it's based on a value, target value of 2. So you're looking at 2%. You know, this is how many race lanes. And this tells you like what kind of filters you can use. Okay. So you can only bait a race based on one filter, but of course the top list that you create that fuels the race, then you can of course use anything in the top list to generate the symbol and then race that on one of the values. It wouldn't make sense to have multi-value races at the same time because you got to have like something to base the race on. Okay, hopefully that makes sense.
But your top list certainly can have all the different filters that you want to have with the race. And the one unique configuration right there is we have that replace cars option. It's in the lower left-hand side of it. But what that does is it'll, depending on how many race lanes you have and what your top list looks like, depending on the criteria that it's looking for, you can have new cars, new stocks enter into the race as their values really become significant enough to be displayed inside of the race.
So Debbie, the answer to your question is you can go to any top list. If you've got the latest version, right click and it'll say launch real-time race setup. So it's from a top list. Brad and I have not created the channels yet that will have this pre-configured, but here you can see, notice there's that biggest loser wins. That's how we did the negative race with the popular stocks. Okay.
And on any race, if you right click in that race, you can also populate your top list if one's not visible.
Correct. So Niraj, the way you use the race is an ultimate kind of information gathering tool. So you're going to be able to spot moves, and let's go back to here real quick. You're just going to be able to spot moves quicker from a race point of view. Like obviously, you know, they've done a lot of psychological stuff on people, and people are able to really monitor relatively small amounts of information, but we can visually evolve to work with our eyes very well. So notice how Spotify, boom, 9.95. Like you would have never ever seen this, okay? Unless, like this move right here, unless you were watching a race. This is the best way this is the best way that I can tell you how it works. It's spotting information in a way that your eyes would otherwise have a hard time catching. And you don't lose it because as long as it's staying there, it stays there. And of course, in this case, both ways. You know, here's GameStop coming off a little bit, Eli Lilly coming off a little bit, just right there. So you obviously, this isn't saying that this is telling you, hey, I'm going to buy this, but what it's telling you is number one, real quick, right? If you're looking at positives versus negatives, you can quickly tell there's just at this particular moment in time as we're talking, there's just slightly more negative pressure in the after hours. You can see this clearly. So Niraj, you already have some information that you otherwise might not have had. Out of the positive ones, you can see Spotify is the one that's really popping the most. Okay, so that's maybe something, and again, I'm just assuming, let's pretend that this was real time, you'd be wanting to take a look at this. And what we're trying to do is reshape the industry. You know, the stock market industry has been pretty darn stale for a long time. We've done a lot with our AI and just the way we visualize data with streaming alerts. You know, our alerts are in a way like a small Twitter feed because they're just coming in real time, letting you know what's going on and you configure it. But this is really the combination of a lot of this stuff put together in a way that really nobody else has done before. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to give the individual investor two things. We're trying to give you feel so that you got like a sense of like understanding what's going on and a mathematical component associated with that feel that you can really say to yourself, okay, well, you know, I can definitely see which way things are heading, the pressure, okay? And of the things that are going in my direction, or if you're long biased, let's just say, you can quickly go over here and say, okay, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one. So very basic stuff, but at the same time, I mean, ask yourself, how often or where have you been able to watch 52 charts at the same time? Not, I mean, top list, you can have a bunch of stuff, but they're just letters. And, I've said this before, it's good if you know exactly what you want to try to do and get to, but it's nothing like this, okay? It is a little bit like market sentiment, but very numerical, Joel. And I mean, thank you for pointing that out. It's not, I mean, it's not just sentiment, it's literal, it's market flow, okay? And here is what it looks like when somebody wins. So now you can understand why the winners were there. And here we're getting ready, like engines are starting. And what's kind of cool is, again, you're gonna see as the next 10-second timer goes off, okay, you're gonna be able to see, well, who was it that won the next one? Sometimes the same stocks repeat. So you can say, like, oh, well, Snap is continuing to go down in this case, or Spotify is continuing to go up. But what I like to show people is nuanced, new tactical information that gives you an edge, because there are very few other people that are viewing the same information. I think, again, we already do this with our AI, we do this with our streaming alerts, but really with the races, it's at another level. Now let me show you something else, and I kind of want to discuss why this is a little bit of almost an antithesis to the AI. So I'm going to bring you the AI here. For those of you that don't know, or who have our premium channel, okay, this is our Trade Ideas AI. The AI does statistical analysis overnight and gives you trades. And here today, it made a little over a point on 4 trades in conservative mode, and almost 2 points in moderate and aggressive mode. This is the percentages per each trade. You can see what happens. And this is a full-on kind of artificially intelligent strategy trading matrix. It suggests an entry, it suggests its own exit, the reason why it got out, and it gives you different concepts of how to move around the stock market and why you're making it. I mean, again, whether you're doing it in an aggressive mode, where you're holding it pretty much till the end of the day, or if you're in conservative mode, where you're taking very specific timed exits or profit saves. It's a rule-based system, okay? But the difference between this and what I was going to showing you in the races, most of you don't know that much about SMPL. Not that you necessarily don't know anything about it, but a lot of these stocks, even though they're making a big move right now, just these are stocks that people possibly may have not heard of. And notice that there's an E here. So earnings today before market open. So there were some earnings, and obviously, Brad, it didn't look that great from what I could tell here. So, so the idea is when you do a race, right? So this is the AI, and again, we've had this for several years, I mean, more than several years now. And this is part of our premium product. This teaches you how to trade. It helps you understand risk management. It helps you do all of these things, okay? But the races allow you to apply some of this tactical data to things that you already know. Like, you cannot right now have the AI trade your own symbolist, because the AI does its own stuff and it's doing statistical analysis. And most of the time, your favorite stocks are just not going to be part of the statistical analysis criteria that is needed for the AI to be able to warrant an entry or an exit. But with the racing setup, you're able to view exactly what it is that you like. And again, all stocks that you have some attachment to or emotions to, and really be able to quickly notice again, and this is, although this is after hours, I'm just going to make this reference point that Spotify, although probably not doing too much, is at least continuing to stay strong, while again, the rest of this stuff is sort of dribbling a little bit. So it might win this race again. So you'll be able to say, well, okay, this is the one that's continuing to stay strong. And this is why we have the winner's circle, okay? And this is the big differentiating factor, in our opinion, between Trade Ideas and other vendors who compete for your subscription, okay? You have a choice with your subscription dollars. And the thing that we're trying to convey to you is that we're always trying to push the envelope to give you an edge that just hasn't been seen. And it isn't really about necessarily having the prettiest charts, although we've done an immense amount of work to the charts. There's stuff that you can do. You can trade from candles. You can color the charts completely differently. Okay, there's a whole color and gradient. So like you can come here and say, okay, I want the chart to look like this, hit okay. And so we've done a lot of stuff there and we're going to continue to do that. So I'm just showcasing some of that. But this is the differentiator. These are the things that are going to give you an advantage over your neighbor or your uncle, because you know, already Trade Ideas. Let me do something else here real quick. I'm gonna go, hold on one second. Okay, so I'm gonna go to new doc channel bar, and I'm gonna show you can already go to a channel bar, for example, and just quickly see where all the winners are. Okay, so we have all of this. You can surf the winners, you can surf the losers. There's virtually an unlimited amount of ways, you know, different ways that stocks surge. And notice I'm just clicking and I've got this doc channel bar. I can move it around, doesn't mess with my race setup, but I can see all the things that, you know, are relevant to me if I'm really trying to find interesting opportunities, okay? So you can do all of that, but you can go to a window like this, right click, launch real-time race setup, minutes to run, let's call it 5, change from the close percentage, delta value, replace cars, auto run, auto start, and hit OK. So again, it's looking at that list and it's just going to show you a race based on that setup and the stocks that, you know, are moving in the direction of the race. So that's kind of like an example of how easy it is to set up the race. And of course, I did it quickly. You will be instructed in videos and there'll be pre-configured layouts for you. Mark, you can use sectors for the race. You would just create a symbol list with a sector that you like. And I mean, we have plenty of sector symbol lists already preloaded. So you will do that and launch a top list and then easily do a race. So it's that simple. So what I'm showing here is that on any top list, you can create a race. Scroll down a little bit. I'm going to go to Alpha Predator. Okay, so action is heating up. Right click, launch race. Change from the close, delta value, replace, auto run. Again, remember, after hours data, that's why you don't see a lot of information happening here. But this is the sort of the 1-2 punch of being able to start the race and configure the race and modify it in any way that you see fit. Okay, I just closed that docking channel window and I'm continuing. Whoa, so do you see this? So that was some crazy print on Lululemon. I mean, it looks like it's your after hours data doing exactly what it does after hours, going crazy. I mean, and that happens a lot, but certainly, once again, notice, nobody missed this. Okay, nobody. This is what it's about. It's being able to catch the Lulu, and again, Lulu, I'm just using that as an example. You'll be able to use whatever it is that you like, but these are the stocks that, you know, are relevant, and you are going to be able to see them in a way you've never seen them before, and also take advantage of that information in a way that you have never been able to take advantage of before. Okay, are there any questions? Brad, are we caught up?
We are caught up. Miguel's asking a question about the monthly performance. I don't follow it though. Humans aren't involved in the trade entrance or exit of it.
Right. Sam, for gapping, you can certainly do percentage or price. Yeah, the race should work for anything. Right, so the gap is not something that you'd want to race on. You would just want to race, like, let's say, change from the open, perhaps. You know, not something that people do. Yeah, JJ, I'm not sure what's going on with yours, but I would just shoot an email to info@trade-ideas.com. Okay. Okay, so again, the races are set up right here. Notice this is a 10-minute race, but you can change that to any time frame you want. You can have a race last all day. Now that, again, that wouldn't necessarily make sense. So, and the race starts when you start the race, okay? When you start the race starts. That's it. Yeah, these are 10-minute races, but you can change that in the race setup. So the race is updating in real time, but I believe it's in same time increment as the top list. And we're going to be increasing that. But again, this is a lot of information, but you're just seeing it update as exactly the same way as the top list. I think it's 15 seconds, possibly 15 or 30. Okay, let's finish up the presentation. Okay, this is what we showed you. And again, this is what it looked like during the day, during market hours. This is the price of our Trade Ideas software. You know, I always joke about how if you can't afford this much per day, then this software is probably not for you. Okay, really think about that. AI, complete software, trade assist built in, simulated trading, which we didn't even cover today because we were doing the races, but it's quite an amazing feat of technology. And of course, we do have a promo code for you, Happy 2022, 15% off your first month or a year off of Trade Ideas. Okay. And once again, there's a standard and a premium, and the premium has more functionality like price chart, more charts you can open, and of course, the AI. Our support is unparalleled. Please take a look at trade-ideas.com/live daily support sessions very highly skilled staff, and of course they can answer all of your questions about setups, racing, or anything else. Okay, the yearly is more expensive. The yearly is not more expensive. Monthly 3.9, yearly is 2.9. Okay, so yearly is of course cheaper. This is just how much it is per day. Okay, so you can see what the most expensive product that we offer is the premium monthly, which would cost you without any discounts $7.50 per day. If you can't afford that, then stock trading probably is not the right thing for you. Barry, who's in here helping us with the Q&A webinar, is the moderator of our trading room. Fantastic resource, helps the meritocracy of very astute traders. I highly suggest everybody go there, join, and take a look. trade-ideas.com/trading room. It's a very valued resource for you. Yeah, Amy, if you shoot an email about that, somebody will help you set that up, no question. And again, I showed how you can make stocks that are losing money be the race winners. So you can see negative as well as positive movements. We trade with interactive brokers, so you can learn more about that. Fully integrated through through our brokerage plus. trade-ideas.com/IBKR. And of course, zero trade commission with E-Trade. trade-ideas.com/E-Trade. We are very active on all sorts of media. We have an amazing YouTube channel that I really suggest everyone take a look at it because it can show you everything that we've done here. Lots of examples on how to set things up. All these little questions that you guys have, all of them are answered to you on YouTube. Of course, like us on all of the social media. And if you have any questions, please give us email to our support and they will answer it very quickly at info@trade-ideas.com. Scott, Brad, I think we're good.
Very good. If you guys didn't get any of your questions answered, you can shoot us an email at info@trade-ideas.com. We'll get to it there.
Thank you very much.
The recording will be available later on tonight or tomorrow, and you get an email reminder tomorrow about how to find it. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.